9.0 data mine. All right, so apparently we're getting some interesting weapon updates here. Rarity common, rarity master crafted, rarity artificer, rarity relic, tier. So it says tier heroic. So it's not a rarity, it's a tier. Not 100% sure how that is going to apply. Now, when it comes to grind in this game, the weapon grind is definitely one of the most extensive ones. However, I think to help clarify how you grind your weapon level, you have to understand you get experience based on damage. So it's not like a set experience, which is interesting. So I guess if we're actually grinding up to tier heroic, perhaps maybe it's not that difficult to grind to if you already have a relic weapon. Potentially you can just put up numbers and then get to heroic tier. However, we still have more to look through here. Currency shop, weapon category, heroic weapons. So wait, hold on. If it's this is confusing. this is confusing. So okay, it's a tier. So it's okay. So I guess you need a certain You need certain currency for it. I highly doubt they're going to sell weapon buffs. You know what I mean? So if they're going to sell anything, it's going to be cosmetic related, right? Firearm, plasma incinerator, heroic heavy plasma incinerator, firearm, rifle, bolt rifle. Okay. Heroic combi bolter. I guess they're... So I already seen some comments kind of freak out about this one. I don't think this is a new weapon. I think they're referring to the grenade launcher. However, the fact that in the code it says combi bolter kind of leads me to believe that they can definitely add in another section of the combination for the bolter, as in they could add in a plasma version. That would be kind of cool. Fire gun, heavy gun, bolt pistol, heavy gun, I guess. Heroic bolt pistol, yes. So combat knife, heroic combat knife. Okay, so also, by the way, it says ability, chainsword, heroic chainsword, power sword, Xenophase Blade. Oh, that's different. That's different. Okay, so Xenophase Blade kind of screams cosmetic to me. The heroic tag does not scream cosmetic to me. Heroic screams, hey, this is a new tier of weapon. Your weapon potentially can get stronger from this. However, from what we are looking here, the currency and everything, yeah, it says currency, shop, weapon category. Oh, also, by the way, currency, shop, armor category. So... yeah, this is confusing. I've seen a few people talk about this, but I don't think we have the full story here, to be completely honest. This could either be cosmetic related or mechanic related, like potentially. I mean, the fact that it says tier and not rarity does mean that we're probably not going to need to level it up. It potentially could just be something we buy with like data or, you know, basically credits. However, I gotta admit, I don't want to buy... I don't want to use credits to buy upgrades for my weapons. I mean, I guess I could, though. I wouldn't mind it. I just think if we're going to get upgrades for our weapons, it should be through gameplay, 100%. I mean, I guess you can get credits through gameplay, so that counts, maybe. But, okay. Now, this, again, this screams cosmetic right here. It's the Xenophase Blade, because it's a power sword. And I don't know. Why doesn't it just say heroic power sword? Perhaps maybe there's Xenophase variants of other weapons? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have any thoughts about this one, but to be completely honest, I'm a little stumped. I've seen other people talk about this also, and it feels like we're all kind of just throwing stuff at the dartboard to see whatever it seems more accurate. Probably the answer we're going with. However, for the most part, this is very interesting, and this is also something that devs obviously have not talked about. So a lot of this stuff is subject to change, of course. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in what they are cooking here, because they're either cooking a new rarity or a new upgrade. I'm not sure, but the devs haven't mentioned anything about weapons for patch 10. They've mentioned what for patch 10? They mentioned modifiers. All right, well, this is definitely something we're gonna have to keep an eye on, 100%. If the devs talk more about this, you know I will talk about it. But yeah, let's go into the comments to see if anyone can clarify this better than I can. It blinks in and out of reality as you swing it. So this is the Xenophase power sword, letting it phase through armor and basically anyone you stab with it on tabletop. Wait, telefrag. That's funny. Like teleport and then explode, I guess. Interesting. So yeah, letting it phase through armor and basically telefrag anyone you stab with it. On tabletop, it counts as a power sword with 1/6 of a chance to just ignore all enemy armor, force fields, and magical protection. All right, that is interesting. Well, that sounds very powerful. Like, dude, to be honest, honestly, I was gonna say I have a hard time believing they would put something like this in the game if it wasn't supposed to operate this way. However, I have to admit, it definitely sounds a little bit too powerful. However, the fact that it actually has set mechanics for itself definitely leads me to believe that some of this heroic upgrades are just that. They potentially can upgrade your weapon to be a little bit stronger. Now, with that said, what would a Xenophase power sword look like in the game in that case? Like, does it just go through damage resistance? Do we even have damage resistance in this game for enemies? You know what I mean? Force fields, I mean, hey, it could go through blocking stances. That's interesting. It can go through Zangor shields, sure. Maybe sorcerer shields as well, but I can imagine you'll still get aggroed. Magical protection. We don't really have a lot of magical protection outside of zone throw shields, right? And that's not even like magical, really. I don't know. I don't know if it's magical or not. But I'll tell you what, that's a pretty limited scale of usage. So even if the Xenophase power sword is just that, a Xenophase power sword, it's only really going to be useful like here and there. You know what I mean? I mean, even Rubric Marines are just going to get hit by the power sword. Terminator will just get hit by the power sword. It's not like the Terminator has any magical protection. I don't know, this is interesting, but at least we got the mechanics down for the Xenophase power sword. A new weapon tier would be great. Quite a few games have a red or exotic type of weapon tier now. I mean, yeah, that's very true. The thing that was concerning to me at first was, like, when I see, like, a new tier to grind for, I was just immediately reminded of prestige perks, and that was definitely a grind. Those first two prestige perks were 100% a pretty lengthy grind. However, once you start to get more prestige levels, you get more experience, and the grind becomes a lot easier. Now, in the case of grinding for a new weapon rarity, just in case, let's talk about it. Again, if you do a lot of damage in a game, you will get a lot of experience for a weapon. Recently, I did put up like 40,000 with the fire rate Melta on the heavy. That weapon is absolutely insane. So with that considered, you potentially can level up like a full tier of a weapon in one maybe one operation. I would say maybe go for siege mode in that case. You'll do more damage, maybe level up your weapon a little bit faster. But yeah, in the case that we actually see a new rarity for this game for weapons that you have to grind for, I would be okay with it. It's not that big of a deal. I think a lot of my weapons are already leveled up, so I wouldn't be that, you know. Wait, hold on. That actually throws me off even more to consider this. We just received weapon buffs. If there's a new tier of weapon, that means there's likely a new tier of enemies as well. Wait, okay, no, I think I'm putting it together. Modifiers. So if you complete operations with modifiers, maybe you get like a certain currency to level up your weapon, maybe? But then still, you would have something that would basically just be way too powerful for absolute. Kind of weird. Interesting, but kind of weird. I think we're definitely missing some information here. I mean, obviously, we're trying to go off of leaks. I remember farming the Great Unclean One in Inquisitor Martyr for Archaeotech loot. I like the way that sounds. Hopefully the weapon designs are good. I've seen enough Gathalamor Crusade and Aphelion Liberation to last a lifetime. I mean, yeah. No, to be completely honest, if we get new weapon designs for heroic weapons, I'd be cool with that. I do like the, you know, the relic weapon skins we have, but yeah, I have seen them for a long time. I agree. But yeah, when it comes to a new rarity for this, for weapons, obviously that is a given. They should look different. But like, if it's just something that is cosmetic, I have a hard time getting hyped up for. But if there's actually mechanics built around these heroic weapons, maybe we get an extra perk. That would be nice. A perk point, you know, where you can get an extra, you know, skill for your weapon. Anyway, yeah, something like that would be great for heroic weapons. I mean, even if they don't buff up the damage at all and just gives us an extra perk point, I do believe that might be powerful enough, but also maybe wouldn't just trivialize absolute if you just get one more perk point on your weapon. That actually seems pretty fair to me, to be completely honest. I did some more digging, and it looks like the currency will be something called accolades, which will be obtained by completing missions with gameplay modifiers. Wow, I called that one. I called that one. No, that makes sense. That 100% makes sense. I mean, honestly, that was the only place I could see them applying a new tier of weapon would be absolute with modifiers. Dude, these modifiers are going to be pretty harsh, aren't they? I don't know. We will see. We will see. Tutorial mission screen, PvE heroic deeds header, stratagems. Tutorial mission screen, PvE heroic deeds desk. In stratagems mode, you will complete missions supplemented with unique battlefield conditions. They can both help and hinder your battles. Upon successful completion of the mission, you will receive accolades, which can be exchanged for valuable rewards. Wow, okay, so this is probably the best we're getting right now as far as explaining the leaks. Now, the word valuable here, holy cow, let's kind of stretch this one. Valuable. The fact that it's kind of more hinted towards being material, I guess. If it was something that was like, it would say powerful rewards, right? If it was like a new tier of weapon, that was actually meant to be like a new tier, but still valuable. You know what's valuable to me? Putting an extra perk point on my weapon. That's 100% valuable. So yeah, there's a couple different ways you can look at this. Ultimately, I am definitely leaning towards not getting too hyped up. I do want stronger weapons, but like we just received buffs. It's really hard for me to kind of like comprehend what a valuable reward would be on a new tier of weapon. Again, the only thing that really comes to my mind is, hey, guess what? You have a heroic bolt rifle. Well, now your heroic bolt rifle gets an extra point, so you now have one extra perk. I'm trying to think. Yeah, see, honestly, that's probably the best way they can do it. I just don't know. I don't like how it's like. I could be making this too simple. You know what I mean? Maybe it comes with an extra skin, maybe 2 extra perks or something. You know what? I will say, if it's 2 extra perks, that seems a little bit more enticing, and still kind of sits on the fence of being overpowered for absolute. However, if you're paying attention to anything this patch has done recently, I feel like a lot of people are going to throw the word overpowered a lot. People are going to throw that word a lot. Yeah, look, some of these weapons are really powerful. I don't think there's anything overpowered in the game at the moment. I did hear some great things about Shadow Stab and the combat knife, and I saw some crazy stuff about it, so that's pretty wild. But yeah, I really, guys, I really don't know how to approach this one. It's so getting any sort of rewards off of playing the game with modifiers, huge W. That is great. I like to see that. However, I'm a little bit confused by the valuable rewards. 100%. If we get a new tier of weapon, it will likely just come with an extra perk, something like that. So I'm not expecting like the actual damage of the weapon to increase just because it is a heroic tier. Remember, it's not rarity, it's tier. So the fact that it's in a different description means it's probably not going to apply the same way as rarities do. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can really think of. To be completely honest, that's pretty much all that comes to the top of my head. Now, this obviously this isn't a rarity, but do we really need more to grind for with the weapons? I think this is fine. At first, I was a little worried because I thought it was going to be an extra grind. I mean, it kind of is, but it's more like, hey, if you beat this mode, you get a reward for it. Nah, I'm down for that. This actually sounds pretty good. I just want to see what exactly is a valuable reward, you know what I mean? But yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and thanks for watching.